Hello YouTube, this is Rich again, just with a quick update on the ATV repair. Well, what I did with the brakes, I don't know how many people were watching, but I thought it was in the disc brakes back here. Absolutely not. Squeak came right back again the next day out, again with the same cure, or for whatever reason, the squeaking went away once I hit a puddle. Okay, so that right there told me that it's not this, the drive shaft. It's not any of the CV joints. It has to do with something that when it gets wet, it stops. So I had had enough. So I bought a jack. I'll show you that. One of the best purchases I ever made. Okay, so what I did was, again, I took off the hub and I blew out the ball joints and also the tie rod, which is back over here. Okay, took those off, dropped everything, pulled the shaft out. So just be careful when you do this. What I did is you pull right straight back and it will exit out of, I believe it's called the final drive, I'm really not sure, front final drive or whatever. So then once I got the knuckle off, I happened to notice that in between here and the knuckle, I'm not sure what the correct name for this is, but it's the end of the drive shaft, and there's a spline that goes through the hub. There is a grease and dust seal at the very end of it, and it's pressed into the knuckle itself. So I'm looking at it systematically, I'm turning it, and what I found was, I believe I had a bad dust seal, so I'm not sure if you can see this or not. So let's make this a little more easy hopefully for you to see. It's a double dust seal. This side goes in here, goes into the knuckle this way. This here is supposed to, this lip contacts the end of the shaft and then doesn't allow anything to go in between here and the knuckle itself. So, as I was taking everything apart, I noticed this. The seal was split. And I'm not sure if it was getting bunched up like this, and then once the water hit it, it would either A, free it, or silence it. Really not sure how it was. So I ordered the part, something they didn't have in stock. I asked the mechanic, and I also asked the person behind the counter, I said, is this something that is common to this model? And he said no. So then again, I came home and I'm looking, and I noticed that the seal was pretty far outward, little too pronounced back to the shaft itself. So what I did is, when I set the seal, I went all the way to the positive stop, which is on the back of the knuckle. I re-greased the bearings, and I also used assembly lube when I put everything back together, engine assembly lube. All different brands, all different kinds. I don't think one is better than the other. Correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I could tell and what I've seen online is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I just went to Napa. I just bought their brand, and it was good enough. So then I reassembled everything, but I didn't have the torque values. And torque values are pretty important on a machine. Number one, the assembly process. You don't want to be cracking out pieces of, like your knuckle because you've tightened them too much, or you draw them in too much and you'll never separate them. I don't even know if that's a root cause or whatever, but from what I've noticed is, I put it back together, and I thought what I thought was the value is what I did it to. So one thing that's missing right now is you can't see, it's a little off camera, and that is the boot seal. And all it is a piece of plastic. It goes in here like this, and it sort of protects your boot from sticks, stones, whatever, so that it doesn't rip your boot. Here. Boot's in good shape. CV joint's in good shape. So, for all of that, I believe it was this. Because when I reassembled everything and took her out onto the trail, the squeal had disappeared. Two things that I want to mention. One I'll get in 1 second here. This here, I hope it can focus on it. Harbor Freight joint separator, ball joint separator. Second best tool I ever bought from them. Cutoff saw was the first. This is the second. And the last thing that I'm going to show you is the third. And that is the ATV jack. So what you're seeing is, it's up on jacks right now. The elevation is probably, 22, 23 inches off the ground at the hub nut. And I'm still on my knees. I don't have the jack that'll, put it up to waist height to work on or whatever. But it is comfortable, and it's off the ground, all four wheels off the ground, so if I wanted to, I could start it up, put it in gear, put it in four wheel, and everything's going to spin. And that is really a good thing. I noticed here, my brakes are still good, so I'm well within the bounds. It's September, I believe it's 24th, and pretty soon it's going to be plow season around here. I'm in the Northeast, Buffalo area, Buffalo, New York. And just going through the bike, making sure that, everything is up to par. I really wasn't sure what that squeal was, but it was starting. First of all, it was annoying. Second of all, I thought it was something mechanical that could go wrong. Because when you're starting to push snow like you do around here up in this area, it's pretty heavy snow. I just want to make sure that I'm good to go. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to break down all of these cotter pins, and I am going to retorque them. Alright, I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, so this is like one of my great finds, and I just alluded to this a couple of minutes ago about this. The ATV motorcycle jack, Harbor Freight. I love it. The only thing I had to do was I put in two hardwood, look like they're probably 2.5 by 3s. Something like that. I don't know. They were off a pallet that I had. I just cut it and put them in there. But you will notice that maybe you can't. I probably can't see it at all. There's two different sizes. The first size here is it's got to go in between the lugs for my plow attachment. So I cut that down to 13 inches. The other one in back is 13.5 or 14.5 inches. Great buy. Stable, although I do put jack stands underneath all four corners, because you never do know. So, better safe than sorry is the way I look at it. Fantastic. It's stable. It's able to move, although I don't have but I have a couple of pock marks in my floor in my garage, but it's enough for these casters to get over, and I'm not moving it 200 yards down a floor, so it's just going side to side, so I have room to work on the other side. I would shift it towards me. Great buy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull you around here. Excuse the unsteady hands. Alright, so I'm coming out. Alright. As you can see, fits the ATV well. I'm going to put this up on a tripod and I'll be right back. Alright, YouTube, here it is. Front side of the ATV motorcycle jack. I'll pan around here. And you can see, like I was telling you, I always put the jack stands up underneath it. It's just something that, you never know. So just make sure you have those. Never know if one of the mechanisms could let go or whatever, but at least the bike's not going to hit the ground. All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything back together, and I'm going to let the jack down. I'll pull it out, and I'll put it outside, and then I'll show you a good review of that. Okay? Be right back. Okay, welcome back. All right, so now what we have, like I pointed out in the first couple of parts, I have two different lengths, shall we say, of the, that looks like they're probably 3.5 by 4s or 3.5 by 3s maybe. One is narrower, that fits up underneath the lugs of my snowplow. Okay, so I'm going to take those off, and not only that, these create a gap under the machine so that the floorboard doesn't hit along this archway. So it's something that you might want to consider once you get one of these for your own ATV or motorcycle. Okay, so we'll take these off. You have a nice rubber pad if that agrees with what you're doing. Really super nice thing. It's a little bit rough when you're lowering it. The mechanism here just wants to really crash it down real fast. I'm gonna have to work on that. That's about the only thing I really can see that I don't like about this lift. You got not so. I don't know so much if they're a brake as much as they are a leveling implement. But what I do is I just get the bike under it. I just snug them down, and this is your up. And if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see, this here, there's 3 welded lugs on there, and those are locks. So once you get to that point, it drops down. Then you just take and release it. Now you've got the pressure off of your cylinder, and it's being held in place by your lugs. Wheels around real easy. Oh my God. It is so well worth the money. So far, so good. That's about it for my video. I hope that was helpful. I hope anyone who's got a Honda out there doesn't have the problem that I did. Took quite a while to figure out what the heck was going on with that. But now that it's done, I'm getting ready for my season for plowing, and if anything comes along that I want to show you, I will definitely do so. Well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you happen to like this video or any of my other videos, hit the thumbs up. Thank you.